You ever find yourself just endlessly scrolling, and then you kind of snap out of it and wonder, where did the last hour go? And maybe more importantly, why do I feel so empty? Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're going to look at a psychoanalyst's take on what our constant connection to tech is really doing to us on the inside.
And it really all starts with this feeling, right? That little jolt you get. You know, you glance at your phone when you should be talking to your kids, or you check a notification right in the middle of a thought, and you get this flash of, why do I do that? It's anger, it's frustration with yourself. But what if I told you that what's hiding just under the surface of that feeling is something way deeper?
Okay, so first up, we have to really get a handle on the force we're dealing with here. The author calls it a gravitational pull. And that's such a perfect description, isn't it? It's like this almost physical force that our devices have on our attention. And let's be super clear about how big of a deal this is. This isn't just, I'm a little distracted. No, the argument here is that this pull is fundamentally changing who we are, our identities, our relationships, even the way we experience the world. It's like this quiet little earthquake happening right there in our pockets. And the costs, they're huge. Just think about it for a second. That brilliant idea you had, poof, gone, thanks to a notification. That real deep moment you were having with your partner, cut short because you just had to check an app. It's not one big thing, it's like a death by 1,000 tiny cuts. And all those little interruptions leave behind this whispering uneasiness, as the author puts it.
But that uneasiness, it doesn't just stay there. It builds into something much, much deeper. Remember that flash of anger we talked about? Damn it, why did I do that? Well, the psychoanalyst here says that's just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath it all, there's this really powerful, hidden emotion.
And this is the key insight, right here. It's not just frustration, it's grief. Yeah, grief. A deep, building sadness for all those little moments we've turned away from. Every half-listened to conversation. Every sunset we saw through a phone screen instead of our own eyes. Every single moment of real connection we traded for a quick digital hit. And what's truly staggering is how often this happens. I mean, we're not talking about a once-in-a-while thing. We make this choice to turn away from the real and toward the digital dozens and dozens of times every single day. And each one of those little choices is a tiny loss that adds up and up into these great swells of grief. So here's the vicious cycle that keeps us totally stuck. Our phone pulls us away from a real moment, which creates that little pang of sadness, of grief. But then, and this is the crazy part, what do we do with that yucky feeling? We dive right back into the phone to numb it. The very thing that's causing the pain becomes our painkiller. It's a perfect trap. So how does this painkiller even work? Well, the author talks about it like this anesthetic fog that just kind of rolls in and covers up our emotional world. And believe it or not, there's actually a clinical name for this state.
It's called alexithymia. Basically, it's when you have trouble identifying or even describing your own emotions. Remember that whispering uneasiness? Bingo, this is it. It's that feeling where you know something's wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. You can't say, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling lonely. And since you can't name it, what do? You just keep on scrolling.
And this whole thing creates a loop that I'm sure feels super familiar. Step 1, you feel that vague, weird anxiety. Step 2, you leap into action. That's it. I'm deleting all the apps. I'm doing a digital detox weekend. But those big moves almost never stick, right? Because we never actually dealt with the feeling that started it all. So what happens? We eventually pick the phone back up, and the whole frustrating cycle starts all over again.
You know, this cycle of just trying to do something to escape our feelings, it points to a much bigger issue in our culture. We've all been trained to believe that the only good feeling is one you can act on. We value doing way more than just being, and it's creating this massive imbalance inside us. The author has a great term for this, the instrumentalization of our emotional lives. It's a big word, but the idea is simple. Think about your fitness tracker. The actual feeling of being well-rested suddenly seems less real than hitting a sleep score of 90. The simple joy of a run gets replaced by the stats on your watch. It's like our feelings don't count unless we can turn them into data, into some kind of goal we can achieve. And this really makes the two paths super clear, doesn't it? On one side, you have feeling for its own sake. You know, the messy, beautiful, totally unproductive work of just being human. That's where all the good stuff comes from. Empathy, love, art. But on the other side, you've got doing, where even something amazing like mindfulness gets twisted into a tool. We de-stress, not just to feel better, but so we can get back to work and be more productive.
And this quote just nails the mindset we're all swimming in. In a world that's all about productivity and optimization, the very idea of just sitting with a feeling, without trying to fix it or turn it into a to-do list, it seems completely pointless. But the whole argument here is that pointless place is exactly where we find what makes us human.
So what's the end game here? What are the real long-term consequences of living in this numbed-out, action-obsessed fog? Well, as technology keeps evolving, especially with AI getting more and more powerful, the stakes are getting a whole lot higher.
And check out the contrast here. We all kind of know what social media feels like, right? It's frenzied, it's distracting, it's frankly exhausting. But the author describes interacting with AI chatbots as something totally different. It can feel gentle, even like it recognizes you. And that gentleness, that's what makes it so unsettling. It's this brand new kind of interaction that we have no roadmap for emotionally.
And that brings us to what might be the central question of our time. I mean, if we're already losing the skill of just identifying and staying with our own feelings, what on earth is going to happen when we start having what feel like intimate emotional relationships with AI? How can we possibly navigate that new world if we're not even in touch with our own?
To really drive this point home, the author brings up a powerful line from Shakespeare's King Lear. There's a character, Gloucester, who gets blinded, and after he loses his sight, he says he can finally see the world clearly, feelingly. Wow, it's this incredible reminder that maybe the truest way of seeing, of knowing the world isn't with our eyes, but without our emotions.
And that brings us to the final really challenging idea here. The problem isn't the grief. Feeling grief for those lost moments of connection, that's actually a good sign. It means you're still human, that you still care. The real danger? The real danger is getting so numb, so distracted, that we stop feeling that loss at all, that we don't even notice what we're missing anymore. So the question this leaves for all of us is, what have you been avoiding feeling?